Do you still remember Mitsubishi's golden era in the WRC? That time when the roar of the Lancer Evolution ruled the world's most unforgiving roads. The Three Diamond brand carved its legend alongside Finnish driver Tommi Mäkinen, winning 4 consecutive World Rally Championship titles between 1996 and 1999, and reaching absolute glory by clinching the Constructors' Championship in 1998. In total, over 30 official victories since 1973 cemented the Evo family as one of the most revered icons in rally history. But that glorious legacy wouldn't last forever. With the dawn of the new millennium, the light of Mitsubishi Motors began to fade. A series of internal missteps, economic crises, and strategic blunders dragged its automotive division to the edge of financial collapse. A puzzling outcome, considering that the Mitsubishi Group is one of Japan's 5 most influential corporate giants. It ranks among the top 20 conglomerates in Asia and stands within the 200 most valuable companies on the planet. A true colossus spanning energy, aviation, banking, electronics, and construction. And yet, its automotive division, the one most visible to the public, was left to fend for itself. How did this happen? How did a brand that touched the sky in the 90s end up fighting for its survival barely a decade later? Today, we go back to the early 19th century to uncover the origins, the rise, and the downfall of Mitsubishi Motors, a company that left behind a true cult legacy across the world. The story of Mitsubishi begins during the final decades of Japan's feudal era. Specifically, on January 9, 1835, in Aki, a region on the island of Shikoku, its founder was born, Yataro Iwasaki, into a family of samurai serving the powerful Tosa clan. Let's recall, samurai were a hereditary warrior class. They maintained their status by offering military service in exchange for rice, which at the time served as a form of currency. If their rank was high enough, they could even receive land or other rewards. But by the early 19th century, Japan had experienced 2 centuries of peace under the Edo period, and the samurai services were no longer needed. This shift, combined with the Iwasaki family's growing debts, led to their fall from grace, a loss of honor that would shape Yataro's destiny. With a burning desire to restore his family's name, Yataro left for Edo, modern-day Tokyo, at the age of 19 to complete his studies. There, he met Toyo Yoshida, an influential political leader who convinced him of the value of economic liberalization and industrial development. Under Yoshida's mentorship, Yataro laid down the sword and embraced the vision of becoming a modern merchant. His breakthrough came in 1867. He was appointed head of the Tosa clan's trading office in the strategic port of Nagasaki. Yataro quickly proved his worth, managing ship acquisitions, logistics, and exports of camphor oil and Japanese paper. But the following year, everything changed. The Meiji Restoration dismantled Japan's feudal clans and banned them from participating in commercial activities. For Yataro, it was a sign. It was time to go independent. In 1870, he took over the clan's commercial assets and founded his own shipping company, Tsukumo Shokai. By 1873, he renamed the company Mitsubishi Shokai and adopted the now famous emblem of the 3 diamonds. The word Mitsubishi combines Mitsu, 3, and Hishi, water chestnut, a term that also refers to a diamond or rhombus shape. The symbolism was no coincidence. The Tosa clan's crest featured 3 oak leaves, and the Iwasaki family's emblem consisted of 3 stacked diamonds. In 1874, Mitsubishi transported troops and supplies during Japan's military expedition to Taiwan, an operation that strengthened its ties to the central government and opened the door to new opportunities. Yataro was a visionary. He understood that the future would belong to those who controlled capital. In 1880, he founded the Mitsubishi Bank, securing a direct line of credit for future expansion. And here's a fun fact. After decades of mergers, that same bank would go on to become the most important financial institution in Japan today. Just a year later, in 1881, he acquired the Takashima coal mine, securing energy supplies for his fleet and adding a new revenue stream. Then, in 1884, he leased the Nagasaki shipyard, making the leap into shipbuilding and heavy machinery. By then, Yataro had built a near monopoly. He controlled the routes, the ships, the fuel, and the shipyards. Public criticism soon followed, but politically he was well protected. And thus, Mitsubishi became one of Japan's first zaibatsu, family-owned conglomerates that would dominate the nation's economy for decades to come. By 1885, Yataro Iwasaki had fulfilled his mission. He had restored his family's honor and prestige. While many saw him as an aggressive businessman, and some of his methods might border on illegal today, at the time, such tactics were tolerated, even encouraged in a country racing to modernize. That same year, Yataro passed away at the age of just 50. But by then, he had already sown the seeds of an empire. After Yataro's death, Mitsubishi passed into the hands of his brother Yanosuke, and later to Hisaya Iwasaki, who led the company until 1916. During his leadership, Mitsubishi expanded its influence across key sectors: resource extraction, shipbuilding, banking, and manufacturing. The next chapter in the company's story would be written by Koyate Iwasaki, Yataro's nephew. As soon as he took the reins in 1917, Koyata recognized the potential of automobiles in Japan's modern future. And so, the Model A was born, the first Japanese car produced in series. A luxury vehicle inspired by the Fiat Tipo 3, designed to challenge foreign standards of the time. But the dream came at a high cost. Only 22 units were ever built before production was halted in 1921, overwhelmed by cheaper imported cars. In the 1930s and 1940s, Mitsubishi shifted its focus to military production. Under Mitsubishi Heavy Industries, the company built vehicles, and more notably, the legendary A6M0 fighter plane, a symbol of the Imperial Japanese Navy. Around that time, in 1936, another pioneering vehicle emerged, the Mitsubishi PX-33. A 4x4 prototype requested by the Japanese Army. With its advanced traction system and innovative design, it was ahead of its time. Yet only 4 units were ever produced before the outbreak of the World War II brought the project to an end. Still, its legacy lived on. The PX-33 would later inspire the Mitsubishi Jeep, and decades after that, the iconic Mitsubishi Montero. The Axis defeat in 1945 left Japan in ruins, and the zaibatsu, the powerful family-run conglomerates like Mitsubishi, were seen as obstacles to economic democratization. Under American occupation, the Iwasaki-founded empire was dismantled into several independent companies to weaken its power. In 1947, Mitsubishi Heavy Industries was broken up into 3 regional entities: West Japan, Central Japan, and East Japan Heavy Industries. the Iwasaki family lost much of its influence and control. For 5 years, Japan was held in suspension as the Allied forces implemented sweeping institutional reforms, until the signing of the Treaty of San Francisco in 1952. Control over the economy was returned to Japan. While the zaibatsu remained restricted, the companies that emerged from them began collaborating informally, driving forward the national reconstruction. In this new context, Japan saw the rise of advanced industrial capabilities, heavy machinery, public and commercial vehicles, and infrastructure vital to what would become known as the Japanese economic miracle. Just like Nissan did with the British brand Austin, Mitsubishi entered the automotive world by licensing the legendary Willys Jeep, a symbol of World War II that provided an urgent and much-needed source of income in post-war Japan. Throughout the rest of the 1950s, Mitsubishi's divisions regained momentum. They launched the Mitsubishi Mizushima, a 3-wheeled truck, and the popular Silver Pigeon scooter. Both models were well received and became symbols of Japan's economic recovery. In 1960, Mitsubishi unveiled its first modern passenger car, the Mitsubishi 500. It was a modest microcar, reliable, affordable, and perfectly suited for a nation under reconstruction. By 1962, the company introduced a more powerful version, the Super Deluxe, built for high performance, and it proved itself on the track. At the Macau Grand Prix, it swept the top 4 positions, marking the beginning of a string of motorsport victories. In 1964, the 3 small automotive divisions that had been operating independently were merged under Mitsubishi Heavy Industries Limited. Then, in 1970, with rising demand both in Japan and abroad, Mitsubishi spun off a new subsidiary, Mitsubishi Motors Corporation, MMC, dedicated exclusively to automobile manufacturing. This move allowed the larger group to isolate the risks of the car division from its other industrial operations. The newly formed MMC forged a key partnership with Chrysler Corporation, opening the door to the Western market. One of their first major successes was the Mitsubishi Galant, which was sold in the U.S. as the Dodge Colt, competing directly with models like the Toyota Corona, Nissan Bluebird, Honda Accord, and Mazda Capella. But Mitsubishi's global breakthrough came in 1973 with the release of the Lancer A70 and its sporty variant, the Lancer 1600 GSR. In grueling competitions like the Safari Rally and the Southern Cross Rally in Australia, the 1600 GSR proved dominant, winning the events in 1975, 1976, and 1977. As Mitsubishi expanded its international footprint, Chrysler was sinking into crisis. During its restructuring, Chrysler sold its Australian operations to Mitsubishi, allowing the Japanese firm to operate under its own 3 diamonds emblem. The 1980s brought new triumphs. The Mitsubishi Pajero, also known as the Montero, made its debut at the 1985 Dakar Rally, where it became a motorsport legend. 12 victories, 15 second-place finishes, and 16 third-place podiums. By the end of that decade, another icon emerged, the Mitsubishi Eclipse. A sleek, powerful, agile, and affordable sports coupe, it quickly found a home in the tuning scene, competing with rivals like the Civic C, Celica, 240SX, and MX-6. Then came the golden 1990s, with the Lancer platform now well established. In 1992, the Lancer Evolution I was born, ushering in the most legendary era of Mitsubishi in the World Rally Championship, WRC. From the start, the Evo dominated the rally scene and sparked a legendary rivalry with Subaru and its Impreza WRX STI. The Evo 6, driven by rally legend Tommi Mäkinen, secured 4 consecutive WRC championships, a true motorsport icon. The Lancer Evolution's popularity became so massive that it turned into a cult car, earning 26 WRC victories over the years. Mitsubishi Motors had reached its peak, but with the arrival of a new millennium, its ascent would soon be threatened by challenges that would put its entire legacy at risk. At the dawn of the new millennium, Mitsubishi Motors entered one of the darkest chapters in its history. A global scandal erupted when it was revealed that the company had covered up vehicle defects for over 20 years. These issues involved critical components like brakes and axles, forcing massive recalls and triggering a deep erosion of consumer trust. The reputational damage was severe and difficult to reverse. Amid lawsuits and a dramatic collapse in sales, Mitsubishi sought help from its then strategic partner, Daimler Chrysler. But by 2004, the German-American company pulled out, convinced the investment was no longer viable. A frequent question among fans is, why didn't the Mitsubishi Group bail out its own automotive division? The answer lies in the structure of the conglomerate itself. Since its foundation as an autonomous entity in 1970, Mitsubishi Motors operated independently from the group's other companies, such as Mitsubishi Heavy Industries or Mitsubishi Bank. While they all shared the same 3 diamonds emblem, there was no legal or financial obligation to support each other. In fact, after the 2000 scandal, the rest of the group distanced itself, fearing the automotive division's crisis would taint their corporate reputation. With no support, Mitsubishi Motors was left to face the consequences alone. The company implemented severe cost-cutting measures, closing factories, laying off workers, and retreating to profitable markets in a bid to survive. But the storm wasn't over. In 2016, another scandal hit the brand. It was discovered that Mitsubishi had falsified fuel efficiency test results on several models. The truth came to light thanks to Nissan, which detected inconsistencies after testing jointly developed vehicles. Once again, Mitsubishi's stock plummeted, pushing it to the brink of bankruptcy. In a pivotal move, Nissan acquired a 34% stake in the company for approximately $2.3 billion, a symbolic price, far below its value before the scandal. And with that, the 3 diamonds became part of the Renault-Nissan alliance. The impact was immediate. Mitsubishi bid farewell to the Lancer, the Evolution, and the Montero, icons of a glorious era, now resting in the memories of devoted fans. Yet Mitsubishi was reborn. Under Nissan's leadership, the Triton, or L200, emerged as a best-seller, a rugged, reliable vehicle with true off-road spirit, perhaps the last remaining symbol of the brand's original essence. In recent years, Mitsubishi has charted a new path: sustainability, electrification, and technological innovation. Today's lineup includes SUVs like the Eclipse Cross, ASX, and the hybrid Outlander, all aligned with the industry's new paradigm. Currently, Mitsubishi Motors employs around 30,000 people and has a market capitalization of approximately $4.35 billion, a far cry from its peak in the 1990s, when it employed over 55,000 people and was worth over $53 billion on the stock market. Will Mitsubishi ever return to the top? No one knows for sure. What is certain, however, is that millions of fans around the globe still hope to hear the roar of the three diamonds once more, just like in the golden days of rally racing. And so we conclude the fascinating story of the three diamonds, a saga that stretches back nearly 2 centuries, from the days of a young samurai named Yataro Iwasaki to the rise of a brand that became a true symbol of Japanese industrial power. Mitsubishi is more than just a brand. It's a legacy, one that has left its mark on the skies, the seas, and the asphalt of the world. If you're a fan of Mitsubishi or the automotive world, don't forget to leave us a comment below. And if this story captivated you, you might want to discover the mystery behind the name Nissan and its former identity, Datsun. See you in the next video.